Have you ever been eating incredible oysters and just thought, you know what? I bet I could do this. It's a fun thought for sure, but what does it actually take to go from just loving seafood to growing it yourself? Well, today we're going to dive right into that. We're breaking down a beginner's guide to shellfish farming, step by step. And let's start here because this quote just nails it, right? It all begins with a really simple, honest passion. Before you even think about business plans or buying a boat, it has to start with a genuine love for the food. That's the foundation for everything else.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How do you make that jump? Because it's a huge leap. It takes a whole lot more than just liking oysters. We're talking about serious planning, real investment, and a deep connection to the water. So let's map out that journey.
Here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with the dream, the why. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of setting up your farm, the long game of raising your shellfish, how you actually make a profit, and finally, what it means to farm for the future.
Okay, first up, the shellfish farmer's dream. Before we get bogged down in logistics and costs, let's talk about what pulls people to this in the first place. What is the big appeal of spending your days out on the water?
I mean, it doesn't get much simpler than this. Your office is the ocean. You've got the best view on the planet, hands down. You're working in a place that other people save up all year just to visit for a week. But, and this is a big but, that amazing view requires you to be a skilled mariner first and foremost. All right, let's get down to business. Section 2 is all about the setup. This is where the daydreaming ends and the real work begins. We're talking about the huge decisions and the essential gear you need before a single shellfish even gets wet. Getting started really boils down to these 3 massive steps. And trust me, each one is its own giant project. What you grow, where you grow it, and what you grow it with. These choices are going to define your entire operation from the get-go. So here's your first major fork in the road. Oysters or mussels? It's the classic trade-off, really. Oysters are your high-value crop. They bring in the big bucks. But man, they are a lot more work. Mussels, on the other hand, are way less demanding, but you're not going to get the same price for them. Your whole business model starts with this choice. Now, let's talk about your shopping list. This is the absolute bare minimum you're going to need. A small, sturdy boat, something to make it go, a rake that's actually designed for shellfish, plenty of baskets, and of course, the gear to keep you safe. Waders and a life vest. Don't skip that last one. Okay, you've got your location, you've got your gear. Now for the main event, actually growing the shellfish. And this is not a quick flip. This is the long, patient, and sometimes nerve-wracking journey from a tiny little seed to a market-ready product. And first, you gotta know the lingo. You don't just start with full-grown shellfish. You start with what's called seed, or sometimes spat. Think of them as baby shellfish. These are the little guys you buy from a hatchery to stock your farm and get the whole cycle started. And this timeline really puts things in perspective. Shellfish farming is a marathon, not a sprint. For something like an oyster, you're looking at a 2-year commitment from the day you put that seed in the water. That's 2 full years of managing, monitoring, and protecting your crop before you even think about making a sale. Over those 2 years, your number one job is being a shellfish detective. You have to be constantly on the lookout for these warning signs. Something as small as a weird-looking shell or a slight change in the water could signal a huge problem that might threaten your entire harvest. So you've put in the time, 2 years of it. Now, welcome to the payoff. Section 4, harvest and profit. This is where all that patience and hard work finally turns into a real business with real income. But hold on. Before you can make money, you have to spend it. And the upfront costs are no joke. We're talking a range that covers all your permits, your essential gear, and that first critical purchase of seed stock. So yeah, having a solid financial plan isn't just a suggestion, it's absolutely crucial. Okay, so you've harvested a beautiful crop. Now what? You've got a few different ways to sell. You can hit up the local farmers markets, you can become a direct supplier for chefs and restaurants, or you can even sell straight to customers yourself. The big takeaway? It's smart to diversify. You don't want to put all your oysters in one basket, so to speak. All right, let's zoom out for our final section. Farming for the future. Because these days, running a successful farm isn't just about turning a profit. It's about being a responsible part of the ecosystem and knowing how to navigate a whole lot of rules. You know, what's really fascinating about shellfish farming is that it's this two-sided environmental coin. On one hand, it can be incredibly good for the planet. These animals are little filtering machines that clean the water, and their shells literally lock up carbon.
But if it's not managed properly, you can have problems with waste or habitat disruption. It's a real balancing act.
And speaking of management, you can't just set up shop wherever you want. Get ready for some serious paperwork. There is a whole maze of licenses, permits, and regulations you have to get through. It's a huge part of the job, but it's there for a reason, to keep the industry and the environment healthy. So there you have it, the whole journey from just a seafood lover to a full-blown seafood farmer. It is a tough road, no doubt, and it demands passion, incredible patience, and a smart business mind, which kind of leaves us with this one big final question. As we all look for more sustainable ways to eat, could it be that the future of our food is already out there, just floating in the ocean?
Want to raise healthy shellfish and avoid costly mistakes? Get your copy of How to Raise Shellfish by Gerard in the description box below and discover everything you need to turn your shellfish farming dream into a profitable reality.